The Rubaiyat of Umar Khayyam. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Algy Pug. The Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, translated from the French of Jean Baptiste Nicolas by Frederic Rolfe. Section 1, verses 1 to 100.
Lo, phosphor! And a voice from the tavern crieth, Enter, hilarious Philippots, hybrist youths! Enter, and fill yet one more cup of wine, before that fate shall fill brimful your cup of life. Thou, who in the whole universe art my chosen lover, thou, who dearer art to me than the soul that giveth life, than the eyes that lighten me. No thing, O lover o' me, more precious is than life. But to me than life more precious by 100 times art thou. Who brought thee this night to me, thus far elate with wine? Who, raising thy covering veil, hath led thee hither? And who hath brought thee, like a swift-blown breeze, to fan the flame of that which in thine absence hath not ceased to burn? In this world, where for a little while I stay, I savour naught but sorrow and ill chance. Of all creation's mystery not one hath been explained, and now, heart full of grief, and knowing nothing, I perforce must go away. Deign indulgence, O Cadger, to my least desire. Favour thy tongue, and go before me on the Iranian road. Certes, I walk aright. It is thou who seest awry. Ah, cure those eyes of thine, and let me be in peace. Arise, and come to me, and to empleasure me solve one problem. Quickly bring a pitcher of wine, and let me drink before that of my clay they shall make pitchers. When I am dead, lave me in Wolvine's juice, for dirges chaunt at my tomb the lords of cup and wine. And if at the last day thou shalt wish to find me, seek me in the dust upon the threshold of the tavern. Seeing that, from day to day, none can give thee news, delay not to rejoice thy sorrowing heart. Drink of the rosy cup, O lover o' me, envisaged as a moon, for Astraki will make many journeys ere she come anigh. Let the true lover always be elated, dazed, drowned in wine, clothed in dishonour, for to his sober senses cometh sorrow on all sides assailing him, but when he is full of wine, let come what may. What, in God's name, doth that mage expect, who shall have fixed his heart on the elusive treasures of this palace of mischance? Let him, who hath denounced me as one with wine elated, reconsider, for in heaven he will find no tavern stigma. Al-Quran, which all agree to call the word sublime, rarely is read, and in no enduring manner. On the lip of the cup I find diaphotic verse, which always and for ever I love to read. Thou, who drinkest no wine, blame not the drinkers for drinking, for if God forbade me wine, him, not it, I would renege. Boast not thyself because of thy sobriety, for boasting ill becometh a man stained with crimes 100 times more blameworthy than mine. Beautiful though my person be, and pleasant its exhaled perfume, though my countenance be tinted like the tulip, though my form be slim as cypress, nathless, none have told me why the master painter put me in this picture of the world. So much of wine, so often will I drink, that, when I lie i' the grave, I may scent the air with fragrance of the blood of grapes; and half-filled drinkers, coming to pray for my repose, shall taste my odours, and achieve complete oblivion. An heart hath a higher value than 100 carbers formed of earth and water. Wherefore, in the region of hope, attach all hearts to thine with all validity, and in the region of the presence, ally thyself with a true lover. Yea, seek an heart, and let the carver go. When with this hand I grasp a rosy cup, when with joyful soul I drown myself in wine, then in a realm of inextinguishable fire I see the realization of 100 miracles, and voices, clear as limpid streams, explain all mysteries. Seeing that a day is but the birth, the crescent prime, the slow decay, the death of darkness and of light, haste to drink wine, diaphanous wine, for know that thou canst never more regain thy life once passed away. Seeing also that thou knowest all worldly things inevitably to be doomed to die, as dieth the unborn day, then emulate the day, be born, surge to thy crescent prime, descend in slow decay, and die in wine. I am the self-sold slave of Citius Iacchos. To that god's smile I sacrifice my soul as holocaust. O vision entrancing! O Ganymedes, whose left hand lieth in the caress of the flagon's neck, whose right preferreth the brimming cup proffering the quintessential purity of its blood. Behold me, throned among the ruin of my treasures, compassed round about with wine and choral dances, having pledged for these my all, my soul, my heart, my raiment, and eke my cup. Thus do I free myself at once from hope of pardon, and from dread of penance, from the very elements of earth and water, and of air and fire. From unfaith unto faith, from doubt to certainty, one passeth in a breath. Then gaily let this precious breathing pass, seeing that, from life to death, one passeth in a breath. O wheel of fortune, whose insatiable hatred engendereth destruction, since time's beginning tyranny hath been for thee an act of predilection. And thou, O earth, what priceless treasures await the searcher in thy breast? A little while, and the journey of life is accomplished. It passeth as passeth a wind o'er the wilderness. Wherefore, while one breath of life be unbreathed, I neither take heed of the day that will dawn, nor of that which hath died. Apart is the mine where this precious ruby was found. Apart is the depth of the sea, where this rare pure pearl no stain hath sullied. I am wrong. Neither mine nor sea depth is apart, but the secret of true love is told in a language apart. Seeing that I have my turn of youth today, I spread it out from dawn to sunset, and from sunset to dawn, while I drink wine at will. Slander not the delicious juice by speaking of its bitterness. It empleaseth me, and it is bitter only because it is my life. O my poor heart, seeing it to be thy lot by sorrow to be bruised even unto blood, seeing that nature willeth to overwhelm thee with new torments every day, declare, O soul, what gear thou hast in this my body, seeing that thou soon must leave it. Today thou canst not flatter thyself that thou wilt see tomorrow. Even to think of tomorrow is pure foolishness. If, then, thine heart be wakeful, lose not in sleep this moment of thy life, of whose continuance I can see no proof. Except upon necessity, one ought not to knock at every door. From sheer necessity, one must accept good with ill fortune in this world, for one can only play the dice which fate hath numbered and cast upon the chessboard of this little sphere. As I am now, this picture once hath been, unloved but loving, sighing for fair Parthenian tresses. Once the handle on the picture's neck hath been a lover's arm, curved in embrace round the throat of Agapima. To thee, to me, many twilights, many dawns have come. Not without reason doth the world go round. Wherefore, when thou settest foot upon this dust, be mindful, for, doubtless, it once was the apple of the eye of some fair maid. The Kaaba and the temple are for worship. The chiming bells chaunt naught but lauds dominical. Lectern, chaplet, church and cross are only different means of paying homage to divinity. Long ago were written on the tablets of creation those things that are. On ill, on good, no more the universal pencil worketh. That which ought to be imprinted on the roll of fate, God unalterably hath imprinted there. I cannot teach the good those mysteries wherewith I teach the bad. I cannot develop a thought germ whose nature is to die. I know a place which I cannot describe. I have a secret which I cannot disclose. Here no base coin is current. From this abode of cheer the broom hath swept it. An elder, returning from the tavern, said to me, "Drink wine, O lover of me, for many lives will follow thine, thou sleeping thy last sleep." To the divine decrees the man who would succeed must bow. To the decrees of men the man who would succeed must use well-seeming and hypocrisy. In the way of artifice, all that human wit, most skilful, can invent, I have employed, but fate hath blasted my designs. If a stranger be faithful to thee, take him for a kinsman. If a kinsman bewray thee, take him for a stranger. If venom heal thee, take it to be an antidote. If the antidote grieve thee, take it to be venom. There is no heart that thine absence hath not bruised to blood. There is no clear seer able to resist the spell of thine enchantments. Seeing that thy soul careth not for any one, all perforce fall captive to thee. As long as I be not elate with wine, I have not perfect joy. In place of reason cometh ignorance, when wine hath mastered me. Between sobriety and drunkenness lieth an intermediate state. Oh, with what joy I there become a slave, for there is life. Who can believe that the maker of the cup doth dream of its destruction? What love hath formed these beautiful heads, these fair arms, these lovely hands? What hate hath destroyed them? Because thou art benumbed by wine, thou dost dread death, and loathe oblivion. Yet out of that oblivion there will bloom a sprig of immortality. For, seeing that, by his breath, Isa ben Miriam hath revived my soul, death hath no more domination over me. Be like the tulip, blossoming at Annunciation. Like her, take cup in hand, and when occasion cometh, drink wine. Drink, embracing thy young lover of the tulip-tinted cheek, lest, like a gust of wind, the domed cerulean overwhelm thee. Seeing that I may not have what I desire, to what purpose are desires, are efforts? I torment myself unendingly, sighing with regret, and saying, "Alas, too late I came, too soon I must depart." Seeing that the wheel of fate and fortune have never favoured thee, what doth it avail to count the 7 heavens, whether 7 they be or 8? Once more I say that 2 days matter not to me, the day that is gone and the day that is to come. Why such grief for a sin committed, O Khayyam? What great relief, or small, is gained by self-tormenting? He who never hath sinned can never know the sweet joy of forgiveness. Sin would not be if there were no pardon. Then why have fear? None may go behind the mysterious screen of God his secrets. Not e'en an Idaimon may pierce that veil. The breast of earth, and not another place, is our abode. O me, O me! And here also is a riddle hard to read. In this world of inconsistency, which serveth me for present shelter, I long have sought wisdom, in my search employing every faculty with which I am endowed. I have learnt at length that the moon paleth in the splendour of thy countenance, and that thy slim contours put the cypress tree to shame. At mosque, madrasa, synagogue, and church, hell is an horror, paradise a pearl beyond all price. But the seeds of this mis-ease have never sprouted in the heart of him to whom the Almighty's secrets have been opened. Thou hast journeyed through the world. All that thou hast seen is nothing. All that thou hast heard is nothing. Thou hast paced the universe from end to end. All that is nothing. Thou hast concentrated in a corner of thy chamber. All that is nothing. Nothing. A wise man said to me one night in a dream, O lover o' me, the rose of man's joy bloometh not in the breath of Hypnos. Why then woo the dusty kisses of that twin of Thanatos? Rather spend with vine-crowd Dionysus nights and days, till that the pale cold brother stilleth thee in his arms. If that the heart of man knew all life's secrets, also, in the article of death, God's secrets would he know. If, now that thou art thou, thou knowest naught, tomorrow, when thou hast left this thou, what wilt thou know? On that day when the heavens are confounded, and the stars obscure, I will stay thee on thy way, O thou whom I adore. I will seize thy garment's hem, and I will ask why thou hast given life to me, and hast taken life away. I must take heed that I tell not my secrets to the mean inquisitive. Even from the bulbul must I hide them. O consider to what torture thou must put the souls of men when thou forcest them to shrink from their brother's gaze. O Ganymedes, seeing that time doth lie in wait to crush us, thee and me, never can the world be an abode enduring long, for me and thee. But, whate'er befall, know with full assurance that God is on our side, while his cup of wine shall be 'twixt thee and me. Long, cup in hand, have I walked mid the flowers of the world, yet not one of my designs hath been accomplished. Nathless, though in my cup I have not found my heart's complete desire, I will not turn aside, for he who undertaketh a journey must of need go forward. Grace my hand with a cup of wine, for my heart is burning, and my life is flying on the wings of Hermes Pteropoes. Rise, for fortune's favour is a dream. Rise, for flaming youth will fail while waters fall. I am love's worshipper, and in me Islam hath no part. I am a paltry emmet, and he who bade the sluggard seek me and consider is in another place. I desire pallor and a tattered garb, all for love, and silken fabrics are bought and sold elsewhere. To drink my wine and take my pleasure, that is how I live. To care no jot for heresy or orthodoxy, that is my creed. Of the world, to whom humanity is betrothed, I have demanded what might be her dowry, and she said, my dowry is to see thine heart enravished with delight. Neither hell nor heaven do I deserve. God knoweth of what clay he formed me. I am as sectarian as a dervish, as ill-visaged as a lost woman. Nor faith nor fortune have I, nor hope of heaven. O man, thy passion is as common as house-dogs who can do naught save bark. It hath the cunning of a fox, a tiger's rage, a wolf's voracity, and it maketh thee as wakeful as the fearful hare. How lovely are these verdant pleasances which lie by the brook side! They were born upon an angel's lip. Place not disdainfully thy foot on them, for they have bloomed from the seed of a tulip-tinctured countenance returned to dust. Every heart illumined by the light of love frequenteth the shrine of its illuminator. He whose name is written in love's book is free from hope of heaven and from fear of hell. The kingdom of Kavus, the throne of Kobad, the realm of Tus are worthless beside a throatful of good wine. I prefer to the whining of pious hypocrites the sighs of a lover whom mourning hath bereaved. Though sin hath soiled me, nathless I still have hope, as pagans have, serving graven images. For on that day, when I shall die of drinking deep the day before, I will call for wine and my lover, for what do hell or heaven signify to me? I drink wine, not for pleasure, nor for profligacy, nor to renege religion and good morals, but solely to escape a moment from myself. That motive only impelleth me to drink till I lose consciousness. They say that there will be an hell, ay, that hell already is. They say what is not true, what cannot be believed. For if there be a hell for lovers and for drinkers, tomorrow heaven will be as empty as the hollow of my hand. I am required to drink no wine during the month Shaban, nor during the month Rajab, which is consecrate to God. I concede to God and to the Prophet Shaban and Rajab. In the month Ramazan, which is reserved to me, freely will I drink wine. It is the month Ramazan, the season of wine is over. The days of limpid wine and of simplicity are fled far from me. O me, the cellar of wine unvisited remaineth, and the young girls, waiting, yearn. This ancient inn, which men are pleased to call the world, this home where light and darkness live in turn, is but the remnants of 100 potentates, as great as Jamshid was, is but a tomb which serveth as a sleeping place for 100 kings, as great as Bahram. Why lacketh thine hand a cup on this fair day, when the buds of fortune's roses burst in bloom? Drink wine, O lover a me, for time is a foe implacable, and the retrieval of such a day a thankless task. The palace where Bahram loved to take his cup in hand is now a wilderness where the lion taketh rest, where gazelles bring forth their young. Muse on Bahram, who caught wild asses in a snare. Muse on the tomb which hath caught Bahram in its turn. Clouds, spreading in the firmament, begin to weep upon the grass. I cannot live another instant without wine of amaranth hue. The verdure of to-day is pleasant to mine eyes, but that which from my dust will spring, whose eyes will it rejoice? This day is a dinar, therefore set aside thy little cup, and drink wine from a bowl. If on other days thou dost drink a bowlful, to-day drink two, for this is a day above all days. O lover o' me, seeing that the world maketh thee sad, seeing that thy so pure soul must depart thy body, go and take thy pleasure, seated in some verdant mead, during these few days, till other verges blossom from thy dust. Wine can manifest its substance in a multitude of forms, as the form of an animal or the form of a plant. Believe not, then, that it can cease to be, or that its substance is capable of annihilation, for, by itself, it is what it is, although its form may disappear. From the fire of my crimes I see no smoke arise. For no one can I expect a better fate. When I lay this hand, which man's injustice causes me to lay upon my brow, on the robe of any man, I get no consolation. He whom thou most securely trustest, viewed intelligently, will be seen to be thine enemy. Men being what they are, the wise man seeketh not a friend. To-day men's conversation is not good, save from afar. O unthinking man, this carnal body is nothing, the vault of the 9 bright heavens is nothing. Give thyself to pleasure in this place where confusion reigneth, seeing that our life herein endureth but an instant, which is also nothing. Get thyself a gymnopædice, and wine and a lovely girl with the ravishing features of an houri, if houris there be. Or seek out a beautiful stream flowing by grassy banks, if grassy banks there be, and ask nothing more. Think no longer of this extinct hell, for beside that which I have shown thee there is no other heaven, if heaven there be. Seeing an elder, tottering tipsy from the tavern, carrying a prayer rug on his shoulders, and in his hand a bowl of wine, I said, "O elder, what doth this mean?" And he replied, "Drink wine, O lover o' me, for this world is emptiness." A bulbul drunk with love, who came into the garden, seeing the smiles of roses and of wine, drew near and whispered me with fitting tongue, "Beware, O friend, and remember that life will not return when it hath passed away." In all particulars, O Khayyam, thy body resembleth a tent. Thy soul is a sultan within, and its last resting place is naught. When the sultan hath left his tent, the bearers of death come and take it down, to erect at another halting place. I, Khayyam, who sowed the tents of philosophy, suddenly am fallen into the crucible of sorrow, where I burn. The shears of fate hath cut the thread of my life, the retailer hasteneth to part with it for nothing. In the springtime I love to rest at the meadside, with a lover like an houri, and a pitcher of wine, if such things be. And seeing that these tastes of mine are blamed by all, I grant that I should be obscener than a dog, did I ever dream of heaven. Welcome is rosy wine in a coral cup, with melody of barbitos and lyra's gentle sigh. Welcome also is the pious man, who knoweth not the wine-cup's joy. Welcome when he stays 1,000 leagues away from me. Time passed in this world without wine and song is worthless. There is no reward except the melodies of Iraq's flute. Vainly have I studied worldly things, and I have seen that joy and lust alone are worthy. The rest is naught. Beware, O lover o' me, for thou must be parted from thy body, to retire behind the screen of the hidden things of God. Drink wine, knowing not whence thou camest. Be of good heart, knowing not whither thou goest. Seeing that my parting from this world is sure, why do I live? Why do I desire to compass happiness, to arrive at the impossible? Seeing that, for a reason which I have not learned, I must not be left here, why do I make no preparation for my departure? Why am I careless in its regard? There is a time when I chaunt the lords of wine, when I surround myself with its accessories. O pious man, art thou satisfied to know that thou hast wisdom for a master? Then learn this one thing more, that thy master is but my pupil. They continually accuse me of depravity, though I be wholly innocent. O sanctimonious ones, first try yourselves, and see what manner of men ye be. Me ye arraign on a charge of breaking laws divine. Nathless, no evil have I done, but I worship Dionysus and Pothos and the Cyprian. If thou dost sell thyself as slave to thine own sufferings, I foretell that thou wilt end in beggary. Learn rather what thou art, and whence thou comest, study what thou doest, know whither thou goest. The universe is but a speck in my insignificant existence. The Oxus is but a faint trace of my tears blended with my blood. Hell is but the spark of my inefficacious tortures self-inflicted. Heaven is but a momentary rest which sometimes in this world I enjoy. I am a slave in revolt. Where is thy will? My heart is black with sin. Where is thy light? Where thy control? If thou openest heaven only on mine obedience, thou dost but discharge an obligation. And these things being so, where is thy good will? Where is thy mercy? I am altogether ignorant as to whether my Maker doth belong to a heaven of delight, or to a hateful hell. A cup of wine, a fair lover, and a forminx in a mead are three present joys. But thou sustainest life on a promise of joys hereafter. When I am drinking wine, its foes appear on every hand to induce me to abstain, alleging wine to be the enemy of religion. For this exquisite reason now I dub myself faith's champion, and with God's aid I will drink wine, knowing that to drink the blood of his enemy is a meritorious deed. Moonlight bursteth from under night's dark robe. Drink wine then, for a moment so precious rarely cometh. Plunge thyself in pleasures, for this same moonlight will illuminate earth's surface long after thou art gone. Impute not to the wheel of fortune all human good, all human ill, all joy, all sorrow, sent by fate. For this same wheel, O lover a me, in the way of love, is more encumbered by 1,000 times than thou. No shield, however staunch, no silver and no gold, can turn aside fate's arrows. The more I ponder worldly things, so much the more clearly do I see that there is no good but good, and naught is all the rest. That heart's in sorry case, whose walls do not enclose it strictly from the world. For vain regret doth seek a daily prey therein. Only the heart that shutteth the door on care can keep gladness in, for outside all is torment. He who in wisdom hath sown joy in his heart hath lost no day in sorrow, hath used his wits to win the smile of God, hath achieved his soul's repose by taking in his hand a cup of wine. God, moulding my body's clay, knew what I would do. Not without his connivance am I culpable. Then at the ultimate day, will he let me burn in hell? When thou hast drunk wine daily for a week, beware that thou abstainest not on Friday. For our faith makes no distinction twixt that day and Saturday. Adore, not days, but him who made the days.
End of section. Section 2 of the Rubaiyat of Umar Khayyam by Frederic Rolfe. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Verses 101 to 200.
O my God, thou art merciful, and mercy is clemency. Why didst thou put Adam out of Eden? If me thou pardonest only by cause of mine obedience, thou art not merciful, but thou wouldst be merciful to pardon me, sinner though I be. Let wisdom go, but lay thine hand upon the cup. Let go heaven and hell, and seek the river of paradise. Fear not to sell thy silk turban, to buy wine. Doff thy fine habits for habits of simple wool. Tell me, O lover of me, what of worldly riches have I been able to acquire? None. What of time passed away is left to me? None. I am joy's torch, but when its light is quenched, I am no more the torch of joy. I am Jam's cup, but being broke, I am no more the cup of Jam. Where be the dancers and wine? Quick! For the calabash claimeth my devotion. Happy the heart unforgetful of its morning wine. In this world there be three things dear to me: a head which swimmeth in wine, a fair lover, and the chaunt of the morn. Seeing that life doth not endure, what matter whether it be sweet or bitter? Seeing that through the lips the soul must pass, why trouble whether it pass at Nishapur or bulk? Drink wine, for long, long after thee, from crescent unto full, from full to crescent the moon will pass. In stranger skies the caravan of life goeth by. Beware, O lover o' me, for thus the time of joy evadeth thee. Vex not thyself because of grief which will attend thy comrades on the morrow, but swiftly serve a cup of wine to me, for night is flying. What wounds hath he not dug in the sorrowful heart of man, who laid the foundations of the world and of the rolling heavens? In this small orb of earth how many Reuben-tinctured lips hath he not hid? What tresses of hair perfumed with musk hath he not there interred? Be not a dupe of the world, O thoughtless one, seeing that its ways are known to thee. Cast not thy precious life upon the winds, but quickly seek thy lover, and drink a cup of wine. Stay me with flagons, O my lovers! Give to mine amber-yellow visage the hue of rubies. Wash me in wine when I am dead. Of vinewood make mine hatchment and mine hearse. On the divan of fate my lot was fixed, on the day when the heavenly steed of stars of gold was saddled, when the planet Phaeton and the Pleiades were made. How then can I merit blame for playing the part that was assigned to me? How pitiful it is to see crude dough lording it over good bread, to see witless men possessed of endless wealth. The eyes of odalisques are a heart's feast, yet sleek slaves and mere apprentices have them. From the book of life my being must be blotted out. In death's arms I must expire. Then, seeing that I must become clay, O lovely Ganymedes, gaily moisten me. Now, while mine heart still liveth, but few problems seem to lack solution, yet when I call mine understanding to mine aid, I see that my life hath fled, and that throughly I know nothing. The worshippers of the prayer rugs are blockheads, seeing that they of their own free will submit to pious hypocrites, who, strange to say, preach Islam under a cloak of piety, but in real truth are worse than pagans. When my tree of life shall be uprooted, when my limbs shall be dispersed, When of my clay pitchers shall be made and filled with wine, then my clay will live again by cause of the wine which it embraceth. Thou, in whose eyes sin is of no consequence, command some sage to proclaim this important dogma, that philosophy teaches the absolute absurdity of making divine foreknowledge answerable for sin. In the beginning my life was given to me, sans mine assent, by him who hath ordained that very life to stupefy me. In the end, with great regret, I shall quit the world, without understanding the object of my coming, of my staying, of my going. My sins, returning to my memory, kindle in mine heart a flame that burneth up presumption. Yet it is well known that a generous Lord pardoneth his repentant slave. These potters, who continually thrust their fingers in the clay, who use their wit, their understanding, their every faculty, to give the form, how long will they persist in trampling on it with their feet, in slapping it with their hands? Do they not think, do they not know that it is the clay of human bodies that they misuse so? Men, whose wisdom hath made them rise upon the world like cream, who by their intelligence survey the height of heaven, like the firmament they have their heads turned tops i' the turf. Wine is promised to me in paradise, then why forbid it to me here? Once upon a time a tipsy Arab hamstringed a camel of Hamza with his sabre. Simply on that account hath the Prophet declared wine unlawful. Seeing that thou hast the remembrance only of past pleasures, seeing that all thou hast is a cup of wine for thy true lover, enjoy at least thy last possession, and let not the cup escape thine hand. Ah, the time to come, when I shall be no more, when I shall leave nor fame nor trace of me in the world which still goeth on. Before I came, the world lacked nothing. It will be unchanged when I am gone away. I do not know whether the men who go to and fro, who swiftly gather riches in both hemispheres, have ever understood the explanation of the true and real condition of worldly things. The most important thing in life I cannot grasp. Many a heart by death is drowned in blood, yet none return from the other world to bring me news of those gone on before. These many princes orgulous, proud of their pompous titles, are so preyed upon by griefs and pains that life to them is but a weary burden. But it is more ludicrous that they should condescend to call no one by the name of man, except he be enslaved by his sufferings, as are they. The tremendous wheel of fortune, whose office is to tyrannize, hath never loosened the knot of difficulty for any man. But when it seeth a heart in agony, straightway it hasteneth to add wound to wound. The years of my youth draw anear their term. The fresh springtime of pleasure passeth away. O me! I know not when that gay bird called youth did come, nor when it hath flown away. Bestir thyself in the whirlpool of this world to dive for pearls. Be seated on the throne of gaiety, and raise the cup to thy lips. God is unmindful of saints and sinners both. Therefore enjoy whatever pleaseth thee. Seest thou those 2 or 3 idiots who hold the world in their hands, and who, in their unveiled ignorance, believe themselves to be the mages of the universe? Vex not thyself by cause of them, for in their extreme content they consider all men who are not asses to be heretics. May the tavern never lack drinkers. May fire seize the skirts of the habits of religious. May those habits fall in tatters. May drinkers trample underfoot those habits of blue wool. How long will colours and odours deceive thee? When wilt thou surcease from thy researches in good and ill? Wert thou the source of Zamzam, wert thou even the water of life, thou wouldst not be able to avoid the grave. If thou hast wine, forswear not the drinking of it, for 100 regrets attend such resolutions. Roses burst in bloom, bulbuls fill the air with song. Would it be wise to forswear wine at such a time? So long as that my lover will not pour out soul-delighting wine, so long as that the heavens will not rain 100 kisses on my head and on my foot, it will be vain, when the moment shall have come, to invite me to surcease from wine. How can I do a thing that God hath not commanded? He who would be consistent must not neglect to drink wine, wine which hath the virtues of the water of life. He who neglecteth to drink it during Ramazan should also neglect the obligation of prayer. When I am dead, instantly level with the earth the dust of my tomb, so that I may become an ensample unto all men. Next, knead with wine my body's clay, and of it fashion the cover of a pitcher. Seeing that Fortune on her wheel, O Khayyam, hath raised her tent, and closed her curtains to discussion, it is evident that the eternal Ganymedes hath produced, under guise of wine bubbles in creation's cup, 1,000 other Khayyams like to thee. Be happy when thou canst, for sorrow hath no end. Wandering stars return to their stations in the firmament. Bricks made of thy clay will build palaces for other men. Live a life of joy, for many other travellers will journey through the world. The soul will cry after the body parted from her. And this brain, where passion sitteth throned, will be trampled under potters' feet. Happy the heart of him who goeth unknown, who hath assumed nor robe of ceremony, nor soldier's woolen vestment, nor Sufi's stole, who hath been raised to heaven, like Simorg, instead of haunting the ruins of the world, as doth the owl. Not to the faint of heart, nor to the poor of spirit, but only to the worshippers of Silas Iacchos is it given to know the language of roses and of wine. I pardon those who do not understand the hidden mysteries, whose joys are revealed alone to drinkers. One day, at the tavern, lack of water compelled me to perform mine ablution in wine. In those precincts, he who shall have smirched his fame never may hope for instauration. Bring me wine now, for the veil of my shame is rent beyond repair. Lulled by vain hope, I cast upon the wind a part of my life, yet never had I known a day of happiness. And now I go in fear that time will not allow me to seize a chance of repaying myself what I have lost. O me, O me, mine heart lacketh yet a remedy. On my lips' verge my soul doth tremble, nor hath she achieved the object of her love. My life hath passed away in ignorance, and the mystery of love is hidden from me. In matters of the soul walk warily. In matters of the world show favour to thy tongue. If that I shall have eyes, and ears, and tongue, in another world I do not need them now. He who, here, hath half a loaf, and shelter in any nest, who is master or slave of none, should be content, for a very sweet estate is his. Plant not the tree of sadness in thine heart, but peruse continually the book of mirth. Drink wine, and have thine heart's desire, for thy time is short. Hath mine obedience added splendour to thine empire, or have my sins curtailed thine immensity? Have mercy, O my God, and punish not, for I know that thou dost pardon early, and punish late. Sad would it be did this hand drop the wine cup to grasp Al-Koran and to lean upon the pulpit. As for thee, thou art a devout bit of dryness. As for me, I am depraved and drenched with wine, and I am not aware that fire can make water burn. He who hath not some thorns by time implanted in his heart hath never held a lovely rosy girl close clippet in his arms. No comb caresseth the perfumed hair of beauty till it hath been encarven with a multitude of teeth. May the juice of the grape be alway in mine hand. May love for fair forms, resembling houris, never dry up in mine heart. Some men say that God will command me to renounce my wine and my lover. Ah, I would never obey that order given. Never, never. Now I must go away, and sad is the day of my going, for of 100 precious pearls I have pierced but one. Through the ignorance of man, a myriad of ideas of profound importance remain unexpressed. This is a goodly hour, nor hot nor cold. The dew hath cleansed away the dust that lay on the rose bushes. The bulbul among the xanthine flowers proclaimeth that the time for drinking wine is come. On that day, when I shall be no more, when I am become even as a tale that is told, then it is mine humble wish that of my clay a wine flagon should be made, and commonly used in the tavern. Drink wine before thy name hath been erased from the book of the living, for sorrow shall leave thine heart when this nectar there entereth. Dishevel, tress by tress, the hair of thy fair lover, before the sinews of thine own frame are loosened. O lover ami, ere sadness shall assail thee, call for rosy wine. O thoughtless fool, think not that, when thou art buried, I shall dig thee up again, for thou art not gold. The world hath reaped no advantage from my coming. Its dignity and glory will gain nothing by my going. Mine ears have never heard men say, "Why was he sent here? Why was he taken back?" All things that thou hidest are known to him that sitteth in the heavens to learn. Vein by vein he knoweth them, and hair by hair. I grant that, by hypocrisy, men may be deceived, but what answer wilt thou make to him who knoweth all the details one by one? Wine giveth wings to the victims of melancholy. Wine is a fair mole upon the cheek of understanding. During the month Ramazan, now passed away, we have not drunk it, and lo, we are here at the night of the feast of the month of the horse. Cheerfully live, for on a day all creatures that thou seest will lie beneath the earth. Drink, drink wine, nor abandon thyself to this world's sorrow. Those who come after thee will too soon become its prey. There is no night on which my soul is not dumbfoundered. There is no night on which my breast is not drowned in pearly tears. Mine uneasiness, preventing mine head from being filled with wine, is a bowl turned topside i' the turf, which may never be refilled. When my nature seemeth disposed to prayer and fasting, for an instant I hope to achieve mine heart's desire. But a breath sufficeth to annul the efficacy of mine ablution, and a half throatful of wine to make of no avail my fasting. Mine whole being is allured by the sight of lovely faces, tinted like the rose. Mine hand delighteth to raise a cup of wine. Let me rejoice in the rejoicing of each single part of me, until these parts be resolved into their whole. A worldly love taketh no thought, like an half-quenched fire, it giveth out no heat. But true love at all times knoweth nor repose, nor nourishment, nor sleep. How long wilt thou continue to waste thy life in worshipping thyself, in searching for the causes of thy nothingness, of thine existence? Drink wine, drink wine! For a life that endeth in death is better passed in drunken sleep. By tomorrow I shall have passed the mount that separateth thee from me, and with joy unspeakable I shall raise my cup. My lover is all mine, the times are favourable. When, then, should I rejoice, if not now? Some men, by gross presumption, become steeped in pride. Others avidly qualify for houris and heavenly palaces. When the curtain shall be raised, it will be seen that they are fallen far, 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 and farther still from thee. It is certain that paradise is a place of lovers, and of honey, and of limpid wine. Then here let us enjoy our lovers and our wine, for these be the end of man. Men prate of a paradise where the Calthair floweth, where houris be, and cates, and limpid wine. Then fill the cup, and quickly place it in mine hand, for one present is worth 1,000 future joys. Even a mount would leap for joy didst thou water it with wine. Madmen only scorn the cup. When thou knowest wine to be a spirit which maketh man perfect, dost thou dare to order its renunciation? From time to time mine heart beateth against the straitness of its cage. It is ashamed of being nothing but clay and water. Often have I planned the destruction of this my prison, but then my foot would encounter a stone while touching the stirrup of satisfaction. They say that the month Ramazan is at hand, when thoughts of wine must be put far away. Therefore at the end of Shaban I will drink so deep that I shall still be elate with wine, when into feast the fast shall fade. If that ye be lovers of me, so cease from foolish words, and serve wine to drive away my sadness. When I am gone to dust, make of me a brick, and place me in a fissure of the tavern wall. At times the brew of our being is limpid, turbid at times. Sometimes our vesture is fashioned from linen coarse, sometimes from Yemen silk. To him that understandeth, both have no significance. But is it insignificant to die? No man hath penetrated the secret counsels of the Hemamene. No man hath made a step outside himself. Having looked, I can see naught but insufficiency in master and in pupil, insufficiency in all men of woman born. Wean thee of thy desire for worldly things. Burst the fetters that chain thee to good or ill, and be content, for the rolling heavens will not cease to move, and life will not be long. No man hath pierced the veil of fate, no man hath learned his Maker's secret mind. Day and night, during 72 years have I reflected, yet now I know no more than I knew at the beginning, and the riddle still unread remaineth. On the ultimate day, they say, there will be parleys, and the amiable lover will be angry. From essential goodness naught can come save good. Have then no fear, for at the last gentle will be the aspect of thy lover. Drink wine, for it will end the anguish of thine heart, and will free thee from thy meditations upon the 72 races of mankind. Neglect not to make this alchemical experiment, for a single draught will bar 1,000 ills. Wine is forbidden. Be it so. but only according to the drinker, the quantity he drinketh, and the company in which he drinketh. These points being observed, who, except sages, would use wine? I pour out wine into a hanaper. I should be satisfied to quaff 2 measures of like bulk, but first I must be thrice divorced from religion and reason before I may espouse the daughter of the vine. Yes, I drink wine, and he who will view the act with undimmed eyes, resembling mine, will deem it insignificant in the sight of God, who hath known for endless ages that I should drink wine, and that, if I did not drink, his foreknowledge would amount to perfect ignorance. The rich man, who is a drinker, bringeth himself to ruin. The disorder of his drinking provoketh scandal in the world. Then let me put the emerald into my goblet of Balas ruby, and drown the serpent of my sorrow. The fool and blind, who never hath passed a night in quest of truth, who never hath allowed his mind to set her foot beyond his carnal wall, who goeth attired in the garments of a great lord, he it is who dareth to disparage one whose conduct is above reproach. When phosphor glittereth in the vaulted blue, let thy hand raise the sparkling cup. Truth, they say, is bitter in the mouth of man, and for this reason wine is truth. Behold the time when verdure cometh to adorn the world, when boughs burst into blossoms white as Moises' hand, when flowers arise from earth as though revived by the breath of Isa ben Miriam, when cloudlets wake to weep. Beware of putting thy body to grief and pain, that thou mayest get white silver and yellow gold. Feast with thy lovers, ere thy breath, already tepid, shall grow cold, for after thee thine enemies will feast. Each throatful of wine that Ganymede shall pour into thy cup will tend to quench the fire of sorrow flaming in thine eyes. Great God, may it not be said that wine is an elixir chasing 100 sorrows from an heart oppressed? When the violet shall have dyed her mantle, when Sapphirus shall have breathed life into the roses, he, who is wise, will drink wine with a lover of form lacanthine, argyrus, and after dash his cup against a stone. The sanctimonious professor cannot appreciate thy divine pity as well as I. Not a stranger, but a lover alone can know thee well. They would make thee out to say, I will lead the sinner into hell. That they should tell to one who doth not know thee. A throatful of wine is worth the empire of this orb of earth. The earthen cover of the jar is worth 1,000 lives. The napkin, which shall wipe lips damp with wine, is worth 1,000 mitres of the sanctified. Convene, O lovers of me, and when ye are assembled, rejoice together. When Ganymedes shall set before you cups of antique wine, remember poor Khayyam with a libation to his memory. Not once have the rolling heavens been propitious to me. Never, for a single instant, have they made me hear a voice of melody. Never, in a single day, have I breathed a second of bliss, but they have plunged me back into the depths of woe. A cup of wine is worth 100 hearts, 100 faiths. A mere throatful of this juice divine outvalueth the empire of China. What greater gift than wine can this world give? It is a bitterness 100 times more precious than the sweetness of life. Naught do the rolling heavens save to multiply our sorrows. Naught place they here that they do not instantly destroy. Oh, if those to come should know the suffering of which this world hath store, how assiduously would they refrain from coming! Drink, drink this wine that giveth life eternal. Drink, for it is the source whence youthful joys do spring. Like a fire it burneth, but like the water of life it quencheth sorrow. Drink. Lover o' me, to what end dost thou concern thyself with life? Why troublest thou thine heart, thy soul, with vain desire? Happily live, joyfully pass time, for, after all, thine advice was not sought when the things which are were made. Those who go down to the grave, they are ashes, they are dust. Here and there are their atoms scattered, separate each from other. What potion hath drugged the human race, making all men fools, knowing nothing till the judgment day? Lover o' me, comfort thyself as though all blessings of the world were thine. Conceive this house as containing all things, as delicately adorned. So, in a place where disorder reigns, thou mayest live happily. And if thou wilt imagine that thou art seated there for 2 days or 3, and that, then, thou wilt arise and go away. Of all religious dogmas, concern thyself with none save thy duty to thy Maker. Refuse not to another that mouthful that thou hast of bread. Avoid false speaking. Seek not thy fellow's ill. And it is I who promise thee the future life. Boy, the wine.
End of section. Section 3 of the Rubaiyat of Umar Khayyam by Frederic Rolfe. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Verses 201 to 300. Driven by the swift stream of time, which doth grant favours to those alone who least deserve, my life passeth in a whirlpool of grief and pain. Jagged as a rose-leaf is mine heart in this garden of created things, and, like the tulip, it is drowned in blood. Youth is the time for wine, the limpid juice of the wall vine, the clip of a lover. And seeing that this empty world by water hath been brought to ruin, it behoveth us to become elate with wine, to compass lifelong intoxication. Bring wine's balas ruby enshrined in a simple cup of crystal. Bring that which every well-born man at all times loveth, seeing that thou knowest all things to be but dust, which a 2 days' breeze will scatter. Bring wine. Thou whom the whole world seeketh, giddy and distressed, dervish and dives alike lack wings to rise to thee. In all men's speech thy name is heard, but all are deaf. To all men's eyes thine apparition cometh, but all are blind. A cup of wine and a complacent lover give me pleasure. When grief devoureth me, I desire mine eyes to brim with tears. O abject world, having no continuance, the best that thou canst offer is life drowned in wine. Drink not thy wine with the clown disposed to violence, having nor wit nor manners, for he will bring thee naught but chagrin. All night long thou shalt suffer the disorders of his carouse, his clamours and his follies, and at dawn his excuses and apologies will cause thine head to ache. Seeing that thou hast only an appointed portion, take no pain to achieve thine heart's desire. Weight thyself with no heavy burdens, for at the last stage thou must perforce unload, to pass beyond. Drink, O lover o' me, of this limpid nectar, undisturbed and still. Drink to the memory of those lovely forms that ravish hearts. Wine, O lover o' me, is the vine's blood,
And she hath said, Drink, for I give thee leave. Drink rosy wine when flowers unfold their bloom. Drink while shrills the plaintive flute amid the harp's melodious strain. I drink and I rejoice. May my soul profit. If thou wilt not drink, what wouldst thou have me do? Ah, go, drink dust. Art thou sad? Then take a morsel of hashish as large as a grain of barley, or drink 3 little quarts of rosy wine. Thou hast become a Sufi, abstaining from this, abstaining from that? Then naught remaineth save to drink the dust. Therefore drink it. At Hestern Eve, in the market-place, I saw a potter who fiercely pounded with his feet a lump of clay to knead it into shape. And to him, methought, the clay did say, Once I was like thee, a man, then be not harsh to me. Wouldst thou drink wine? Then drink with witty drinkers, with rapturous lovers of the smiling lip and tulip-tinctured cheeks. Discreetly drink, and publish not the matter. Chaunt not thy drinking in a chorus. Drink a little now and then, and behind a screen. Drink wine with slender lovers enravishing thy heart with coral cheeks. Hath sorrow's serpent stung thee? Then drink the antidote, O lover a me. I drink, and I am proud to drink. Propitious be the drinking. If thou wilt not drink, what wouldst thou have me do? Ah, go, drink dust. Lo, dawn! Arise, O Laics, and haste to fill the crystal cup with rubious wine, for later, long time mayest thou seek this throb of life lent to an empty world, and never find. A throatful of wine is more precious by far than the empire of Jam. Its odour surpasseth the fragrance of Miriam's mystical food. The sigh which, at dawn, leaveth him who is drowned in the depths of an Hestern carouse, outweigheth the sorrowful odes of Bonsed, or the dirge of Adhem. Lover a me, seeing the world's profoundest depths to be founded on a fable, why thus adventure in a fathomless gulf of woe? To fate entrust thyself, enduring ill, for what the style hath traced upon the tablets thou canst not efface. Who hath returned of all who on the longer road have run, that I might ask his news? Renounce nothing in this mean caravansary for the mere hope of something, O lover a me, for, mark me well, once gone, thou never wilt return. Seeing that every night and day do rob thee of a portion of thy life, let nor nights nor days heap dust upon thine head. Use them with cheer, for soon, alas, and long thou wilt be absent, yet night and day continually are here. The rolling heavens, which tell no man their secrets, ruthlessly have slain a myriad Mahmuds, each with his ayahs. Then drink wine, for life once taken never is restored, and none of those who quit revisit the world. Thou, mighty ruler of the universe, dost thou know the days when wine will gladden the soul? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, at high noon. Lover a me, full of deign and gaiety, be seated, and do not rise again, and so allay the fierceness of the thousand fires wherewith thy charms devour me. Thou hast enjoined me not to look on thee, but if thou bidst me tilt the cup, the wine is spilled, despite of the forbidding. Rather would I be with thee in the tavern, where I need not hide from thee my secret thoughts, than be without thee praying at the Mahrab. Yea, O Maker of all that hath been, and of all that is, whether thou wilt plunge me in the flame, or wilt show me favour, that is my belief. Associate thyself with witty men and honourable. Fly 1,000 farsakhs from the fool. If the one should give thee venom, drink it. If the other should offer thee an antidote, spill it on the ground. Once more the clouds are fallen on the roses, covering them as with a veil. Mine heart yet hath unsatisfied its want of wine. Nay, lie not down. The hour is not yet come. Drink wine, O lover ami, drink wine, for on the horizon Phoebos still lingereth. Like a falcon, from a world of mysteries I flew, hoping to attain an higher, but alighting here, where all lack worthiness to share my secret thoughts, once more, by that same door by which I entered, I emerge. Man, with desire irresistible thou hast endowed, desire which thou forbiddest him to satisfy. Betwixt desire and denial, man goeth in perplexity, as though thou hadst commanded him to tilt the cup, while forbidding him to spill the wine. They have gone upon their way, yet never a one returneth to give me knowledge of the secrets hidden by the screen. Not by prayer, but by an humble heart, are spiritual favours won, O man of many orisons. For what is prayer sans humility, or sans sincerity? Throw dust on the vault of the heavens, use wine and thy lover. For where seest thou subject for pardon, or subject for prayer? Since, of all who are gone, not one is returned. Seeing that I have never pierced the pearl of that obedience which is thy due, seeing that, from mine heart, I have never swept thy footsteps' dust, I hope to reach the threshold of thy mercy's throne, for I have never importuned thee with complaints. Anew we start upon our course of pleasure, while reciting without ceasing the takbir of 5 prayers. But chiefly thou shalt see, when the flagon shall be present, thou shalt see our necks, and the flagon's neck outstretched towards the cup. We in this world are but the mannikins with which the rolling heavens play. This is no metaphor, but truth. In short, we are pawns upon a living chessboard, which at last we leave, to enter, one by one, the vast void. Thou hast asked of me, what is this elusive worldly show? To tell thee the whole truth would be too long, but it is an imaged fantasy issuing from a boundless sea, wherein, when all is done, it is again engulfed. This day by love I am distracted, and the dregs of my being stirred. In truth I am with wine elated, and in the temple of mine idols I render to Dionysus the worship which is his due. This day, indeed, I am separated from life, and to the threshold of the throne of eternity I soar. May the life of my well-beloved endure as long as my sorrows endure. For once more she hath shown me favour, casting on mine eyes a sweet and furtive glance. Then vanishing, without doubt saying to herself, let us do good and cast it in the water. The dawn is come. Arise, O dainty Ganymedes, sip a cup of wine, and let me hear thy lyra melodiously sing, for life is short to those who sleep, and not one of all the dead returneth ever. Thou who knowest all secrets hidden in the depths of each man's heart, thou whose hand doth raise all those who on ill case are fallen, grant me strength to renounce. Hear my plea, O God, who strengtheneth all, who hearest the pleadings of all. On the walls of the city of Tus, perched by the skull of King Kavus, I saw a bird, who to that dry bone said, "Where is the fame of the chain of thy glory, the sound of thy salpinks?" Ask me no more of this world of change, ask me no more of future hope. Vex not thyself for the past, seek not to know the future, and treat the present as a spoil that thou hast won. May dread of the unknown future never make sallow thy cheek, may present pain never make thee shake for fear. Enjoy, in this void world, all that cometh in the name of pleasure, and deem not that heaven will withdraw its favour from thee so doing. If thou wilt hear, I give thee this advice. For the love of God, put not on the cloak of hypocrisy. Eternity hath neither end nor beginning. The world but an instant endureth. Then for that instant exchange not imperial eternity. Of mine own ignorance I could discourse for ever. Mine heart is weighed down with my nothingness. Now I will stall myself like a priest, by cause of the species of Muslim of which I am. When thou hast well drunk, be happy, O Khayyam. When a lovely girl near thee is seated, take thy fill of joy. Seeing that all worldly things shall come to naught, think of thyself as nothing. But seeing that thou art something, give thyself up to pleasure. But yesterday, passing the workshop of a potter, I saw 2,000 pictures, some speaking, silent some. Methought they asked me, where may be the potter? Where may be the buyer of pictures? And the vendor? Yesterday, when I had well drunk, I passed before a tavern, and I met there an elder half drowned in wine, who bore a calabash upon his back. To whom quoth I, "Old man, hast thou no fear of God?" He answered me, "Mercy cometh from him. Drink a cup of wine." How long wilt thou let thy failures grieve thee? Failure followeth them whose care is for the future. Then cheerfully live. Vex not thine heart with worldly care, and know that wine augmenteth by no jot the bitterness of sorrow. Wine, whose worth is known to the wise, to me is the water of life, and I am its prophet Elias. To the heart it is a balm, to the soul it is a strengthening elixir. For, saith not God himself, that man his benefit shall find in wine? Despite that wine be forbidden, cease not to drink. Drink it at night, drink it at morn, drink it with song, drink it with sounding of lyra. When thou canst get that which like a ruby shineth, spill but a drop on the ground, and drink all the rest. Different faiths divide mankind into nearly 72 nations. From these I have chosen the worship of thy love. Then what matter mere words, such as impiety, Islam, sin, and religion? Thou art mine aim. Away with all else. Count one by one my qualities of good. Count by the score my qualities of ill. Pardon, for love of God, pardon every sin committed. Fan not hate's flame with breath of suffering, but remember God his prophet's tomb, and pardon me. Truly, wine in the cup is a limpid wit, a soul transparent in the body of the flagon. An ugly body is unworthy of my company. Only the cup may figure there, for that is both a solid body and diaphanous. O rolling heavens, which know not hospitality of salt or bread, constantly thou keepest me as naked as a fish. The weaver's rolling wheel weaveth robes for men. wherefore it hath more charity than thou, O rolling heavens. He liveth a life of shame, O Khayyam, who hath let his heart be grieved by worldly things. Then drink, to the sound of the lyra, drink wine in a crystal cup, drink, ere the crystal on stone be broken. If the rose doth not fall to my lot, yet the thorns remain. If light come not near, yet the fire of hell flameth. If I have not yet the caftan, nor Kaaba, nor Molla, yet the stole and the church and the bells are mine. If the rolling heavens will not grant me peace, am I not ready for war? If I have not honourable repute, do I not go abashed? Behold a cup of wine of rubious hue. Ask for him who will not drink it. Hath he not a head? Is there not a stone? Look on the coming dawn which now hath rent night's veil. Arise, and drain the morning draught of wine. Nay, be not sad. Drink, O lover ami, drink a cup of wine, for succeeding dawns continually will turn their faces to us, when we have turned ours to the dust. This false world containeth naught save graceful shadows. Ill-advised is he who doth not join himself to them. Take thine ease, O lover ami, drink a cup of wine, give up thine heart to mirth, and thus deliver thee from all vain forms, from all impossible reflections that assail thy soul. When thou hast for thy companion a lovely girl, formed like a cypress, with a skin fresher than a newly gathered rose, leave not the flowery mead. Loosen not thine hold on cup, till death's north wind, like the wind that scatters the rose petals, shall tear to tatters the vesture of thy life. How long these moans and groans against the world? Come up higher, and gaily pass the time. When grass shall clothe the universe from end to end, drink a brimming cup of rubious wine. To thy free soul admit no thought that is vain. Through all thy years drink wine, always from brimming cup. Deal ardently with the daughter of the vine, and let thine heart rejoice. For better it is to use the forbidden daughter than the mother whom the law alloweth. My love is at the summit of its flame. Altogether lovely is that which enchaineth my soul. Mine heart speaketh, but my tongue is still, refusing to give utterance to my sentiment. Great God, can there be a stranger thing than this? Not thirst consumeth me, though by me floweth a fresh and limpid stream. Take in thine hand a cup of wine, and with the bulbul's voice sing thou, for were it well to drink the wool-vine's juice sans melody and song, the wine would make no murmur, flowing from the flagon. On account of crime committed, despair not of the clemency of the sovereign Creator, of thy merciful Lord. For shouldst thou die to-day, when drowned in crime, to-morrow he will forgive thy saprous bones. O rolling heavens, whose rolling doth not please me, enfranchise me, who am unworthy of thy chain. If it be thy will to favour only the poor in spirit, and the fool, then I have neither wit enough nor wisdom. O Molla, more ingenious than thou am I. Though I be elate with wine, I have the sounder judgment. I drink the blood of the vine, and thou the blood of men. Judge therefore which of us twain may be the bloodier man. He who hath wisdom's sum seeketh heart-joy in a cup of wine, doth not distract himself with problems of past or present. In fine, he freeth, though only for an instant, from reason's shackle, the soul of which he hath alone, and which in prison groaneth. When I shall have done with death, when, like withered leaves, my somatic atoms fall from the branching tree of life, how gladly shall I sift the universe as in a sieve before the apparition of that mason who will sift my dust. Methinks this universe, this vertiginous vault of heaven, is like a lanthorn. The sun is the light thereof, and men are the graven images thereon, dizzy, basking in the rays. It is thou, and not I, who hast formed me from water and clay. It is thou, and not I, who hast woven this silk or this wool. It is thou, and not I, who hast ordered me so that I do good or ill. Lover and me, let us take no thought for today or tomorrow, but use this brief moment of life as a spoil. For on a day when we shall have quitted this old home, we shall have fellowship with those who are departed 7,000 years ago. Where, that thou be never for an instant without wine. For wine alone giveth shape to the wit and heart of man. If that Iblis had but tipped the cup, he would have adored Adam in 1,000 genuflections. Arise and dance, O dancer, amid our waving hands. Drink by the side of lovers with languishing eyes of Narcissus. Joy is not very great, when a score of cups hath been drained. But when 70 stand empty, how strangely complete is our joy. I have closed myself the door of desire, and so I am freed from all knowledge of those who are men, and of those who deserve not the name of a man. For, seeing that only one lover remaineth, to whom I may stretch out mine hand, I am what I am, and that is betwixt him and me. The rolling heavens continually make me sad. The baseness of my nature maketh me rebel. I know not how to fly for ever from this world, nor how to live herein without becoming worldly. Here, on this world, how many men are plunged in sleep, how many are buried in its breast. When I let mine eyes rove over this void wilderness, how many men I see who are yet to come, how many who even now are gone. Armed by thy mercy, I have no fear of sin. Provisioned from thy store, I trouble not about my journey. And while thy good will whiteneth my face, of the black book I have no dread. Think not that I fear the world. Think not that I fear to leave it. Death, being an eternal verity, hath no terrors for me. But what I do fear is, that I shall not have lived enough. How long shall I be the slave of reason all day long? What import, whether here I dwell during 100 years, or during a score of hours? Bring wine in a bowl, O Ganymedes, before that I am changed into a pitcher in the potter's workshop. How long wilt thou blame me, O fool of a dervish? I frequent mine inn, and always I am drowned in wine. Thou art wrapped in thy chaplet, thy shams, and thy devilish schemes. I live, cup in hand, just as I please. For the music of flutes I will sell the diadem of the Emperor of China, and the Sophie's crown. For a cup of wine I will sell mitre and cope of silk. I will sell even the chaplet, which by itself contains an host of hypocrites. When vine juice fermenteth not within mine head, the universe provideth, as an antidote, that which envenometh me. For, in sooth, the vexation of the world is venom, and wine, its antidote, which I will drink that venom may not vex me. How long shall I blush by cause of man's injustice? How long shall I burn i' the fire of this colourless world? Arise, and if thou be a man, banish worldly care, for to-day is a festival for rosy wine. I continually strive against my passions. Why? The memory of my deeds is as 1,000 pangs to me. Why? I know that thy clemency will pardon sin, but the shame of knowing that thou knowest me remaineth. Why? Soul, thou and I are like a compass, one body with 2 points. On one point turning we describe a circle, but there will come a day when our 2 points will reunite at last. Seeing that this world is not our everlasting home, how huge an error would it be to take away our wine, or that we should cull no favours from our lovers? O man of peace, why these continual discussions on creation and the world's eternity? When I am dead, it matters naught to me whether the world be old or new. Once to the mosque I dubiously went, but not to pray. I stole a prayer rug there. Use wore it thin. Thither again I went, and yet again. Be not cast down by sorrow, by cause of this changeful world. Engage in no employ, save to drink wine. For, O lover o' me, consider first, that pure, clear, rosy-tinted wine is the blood of the world. Consider, secondly, that the world is our murderer. And consider, thirdly, that thou shouldst not refrain from drinking the blood of him who spilleth thine. For the love I bear to thee, willingly I will suffer all blame, and if I break that vow, I will pay penalty. Oh, had I to endure the torments caused by thee until the ultimate day, still the time would seem too short to me. I am a late comer among men, and I have fallen beneath human dignity. Life, which doth not accord with my desire, is better finished, for I have had enough. Seeing that the world passeth away, I only wish to play therein, to think of pleasure and of limpid wine. Men have said, "May God cause thee to renounce them," and I reply, "Let him not give me an order that I will not obey." When low lieth mine head at the feet of death, when Hades shall have plucked me like a fowl, make nothing save a flagon from my dust, for the odour of the wine therein, perchance, for an instant, will revive me. When I look into worldly matters, I see that men usually steal the good that is therein. O Omnipotence, I see all I do not wish to see in all I see. I am the chief of the drinkers in this tavern. I am plunged into revolt against all law. I, soaked in pure wine, cry all night long to God the sorrows of my high Mataro's heart. Count the addition of the nights when I cannot close mine eyes, when the cruelty of my loneliness doth grieve me. I will rise and breathe an instant before the breath of dawn, for dawn will breathe breaths a many when I shall breathe no more. The dawn is come. Raise in thine hand a cup of wine, and breathe. The fragile crystals of repute and honour, break them on the stones. Renounce unsatisfied desire. Think only of thy pleasure in the touch of the tresses of young lovers and the lyra's melody. Here, where with every breath we breathe new sorrow, better not breathe at all except a cup of wine be in thine hand. When dawn doth breathe, arise, and drain thy cup from time to time, for many a dawn will breathe when thou wilt breathe no more. Were the sins of the whole world to weigh me down, I dare believe thy mercy would hold out her hand to me. Thou didst promise to help me in the day of mine adversity. Then fulfil thy promise now, and give me no worse lot than that which is at present mine. If I be elate with wine, I am elate with wine. If I be infidel, fire worshipper, or idolater, I am idolater, fire worshipper, or infidel. Each single group is an item in my account. But what doth that matter? I am what I am. At no moment of my life have I not been drenched in wine. This is the night of Kedra, and I am drowned in wine. My lips kiss the lips of the cup, my bosom is pressed to the jar, and I shall hold the neck of the flagon in mine hand till dawn. By the sight of limpid wine unceasingly mine eyes are fascinated. To the melody of flute and kithara unceasingly mine ears attend. If the pot shall form a pitcher from my dust, may it ever be filled with wine. All that men know of nothing, that know I. The height and depth of every thought also I know. Well, let all my knowledge be annihilated if I recognise a sublimer state than that of being drowned in wine.
End of section. Section 4 of the Rubaiyat of Umar Khayyam by Frederic Rolfe. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Verses 301 to 400.
I drink wine, but I do no disorders. I stretch forth mine hand only for the cup. Wouldst know why I worship Nectarius Dionysos? That I may not imitate thee and worship myself. Hast thou discretion to hear me telling thee, in brief, what man hath been from the beginning? A wretched thing, formed of sorrow's clay, who, during a few days, snatcheth a few morsels here, and lifting his foot, away doth go. I chose a pitcher's brim for my place of prayer. The use of wine hath made me worthy of the name of man. In mine inn I regain time lost in the mosque. Man is the fine finial of all creation. Man, to the eye of the sage, is the point of divine regard. The orb of the earth is like a ring, of which undoubtedly the carven bezel is man. The elation of mine own madness, here, transporteth me with joy. From my low estate it causeth me to raise mine head to heaven. Nathless, when all is done, behold me, here, freed from my body's prison, returned to dust from whence I came. If I have eaten during the days of Ramazan, deem not that I have done it inadvertently. The dull fatigue of fasting hath so well transformed into nights my days, that I have alway believed my breakfast eaten. Alway mine head is drenched in wine. The presence of the wine cup is my soul enlivening companion. Cease from thine admonitions, O penitent fool. I adore Chrysocomus Iacchus, and the lips of my lover accord with my desire. It is the time of roses. I desire to give effect to one of my ideas. I desire to do a deed in defiance of the law of Al-Quran. I desire to spend some days with my lovers of the ruddy velvet cheeks, sprinkling rosy wine upon the turf to transform the mead into a field of tulips. Seeing that joy hath me in possession, here, giving to my countenance the radiant whiteness of the steeds of Phoebus, I delight in sitting in a meadow with lovers who have velvet cheeks, where I may feed with them on this verdant hashish before that I return beneath the verdure of the earth. Never do I taste with joy a drop of water, but instantly the hand of sorrow proffereth her bitter draught. Never do I dip a piece of bread in salt, but instantly the salt doth open mine heart's wound. Take care, take great care, that thou makest no noise in the tavern. Pass in, but avoid disorder. Sell thy turban and thy book for wine. Pass by the madrasa, but do not linger there. Each day at dawn to the tavern I would go. I would go even with hypocritical calendars for my companions. Thou who knowest the inmost secrets of the heart, grant me the gift of faith, if thou wouldst that I should pray. The cares of this world I value not by so much as the value of a barley corn. How happy am I! If I have anything to my breakfast, I have nothing to my dinner. How happy am I! Seeing no crust to be sent for me from the kitchen, I importune no one with my prayers. How happy am I! Never for a single day have I been free from worldly fetters. Never for a single instant hath contentment graced my life. Long ago I served my apprenticeship to human changefulness. Yet I am master neither of this world nor of the other. One hand doth grasp the cup, the other Al-Quran. Behold me making obeisance, now to the law, now to the unlawful thing. Beneath the azure vault of heaven I am thus not all infidel, nor all Muslim. Salute Mustafa for me, and say, with due respect, My lord Hashemite, why doth the law allow the sour drink, daug, and forbid pure wine? Salute Khayyam for me, and say, O silly Khayyam, when have I forbidden the use of wine? To sages it is allowed. Only fools may not drink it. Thou, who night and day dost covet the good things of the world, thou thinkest not of the terrible day. Meditate, then, upon thy latest breath. Use thy wits again, and see how time doth treat a man. Thou, man, who art the last work of creation, refrain an instant from pursuit of gain and loss. Take the cup of wine which ever-living Ganymedes doth extend to thee, and so gain liberance at once from care of this world and of the next. If thou knowest what to think concerning the rolling of the rolling heavens, thou wilt know two kinds of men, who know their good side and their bad, and a third, who have no knowledge of themselves, nor of worldly things. Let the weight of this changeful world lie lightly on mine heart. Let no man discover the blameful deeds of me. Let me be happy to-day. To-morrow let me be such as thou wilt deem worthy of pardon. To him that taketh count of human change, joy, grief, and pain are one. Worldly good and worldly ill must some day have an end. What doth it matter, then, whether all be grief or joy? Now that the bulbul chaunteth in the grove, think of naught but of the cup in drinker's hands. Lift up thine heart, for full-blown roses breathe the breath of joy. Come, have thy revenge, for a day or two have thy revenge on the pains that thou hast suffered. Regard this solid cup. It encloseth a soul. Some speak of jasmine, bearing blooms of the Judas tree. What have I said? The glittering purity of the wine hath led me into error. It is not a cup, but diaphanous crystal, enclosing liquid fire. Leave the cares of this flying world. Arise with joy, and pass in gaiety this life, enduring but an instant. For if the favour of heaven had been true to other men, their turn of pleasure would not have fallen to thee. Hear, O man, who hast not sat at the feet of the aged. Vex not thyself by cause of the rolling heavens, which have neither face nor fundament. Be content with thy lot, and as a quiet observer in the world, mark the diverse workings of man's fate. Earnestly strive to be pleasant to men elate with wine. Take Khayyam's good advice, O lover o' me. Make well the beginning of fasting and of prayer. Drink wine, steal an thou wilt, but do good. Justice is the soul of the universe. The universe is the body, whose senses are the angels, whose limbs are the heavens, the elements and things created. Behold the eternal unity. All else is but deceit. At Hestern Eve, in the tavern, my heart's lover and my soul's enravisher offered the cup to me with an enchanting air of sincerity, of desire to please, inviting me to drink. No, quoth I will not drink. But to me he made answer, Drink, quoth he, for the love of mine heart. Wouldst thou have the universe submissive to thy will? Then occupy unceasingly in making thy soul strong. Share mine opinion, which consists in drinking wine and in caring not at all for worldly things. Sages have sifted all this world of dust, where naught constant doth remain, and they have found no pleasant thing there, saving lovely faces and rubious wine. To the crime of the rolling heavens in their clarity, to time's unalterable motion granting favours only to the abject, it is true that my cheeks are hollowed like a cup that brims with tears, that mine heart is like this flagon, full of blood. Ere Hestern dawn, I sat on the bank of a brooklet with my sweet lover and my cup of rosy wine. Raising the cup before mine eyes, I saw it as a shell, whose hidden pearl sheds such a blaze of light that the herald of the sun, starting out of sleep, announced awakening dawn. Forget the day that hath been cut from thy life. Grieve not thyself for tomorrow, which is yet to come. Trust not to that which is, nor to that which is no more. Live for the moment, happily, and cast not life upon the wind. Hast thou no shame in giving thyself to corruption? Hast thou no shame in neglecting commands and forbiddance? I grant thy success in thy grasping the riches of earth, but what canst thou do, save to leave them, when thy turn shall come? One man I have known who withdrew from the world to the wilderness. He was not an heretic, nor a Muslim. He had neither riches, nor faith, nor God, nor truth, nor surety. Who in this world, or the next, hath a courage like his? Men in their multitudes muse on beliefs and on faiths. Others, twixt doubt and knowledge, in a torpor lie. Sudden, then shouteth the vigilant mage, O fools, the road you seek is neither here nor there. Among the stars there is a bull called Parvan. Another bull lieth under the earth. Open intelligent eyes, the eyes of the men who know, and observe this handful of asses betwixt two bulls. To me hath been said, Drink a little less wine, or furnish a reason why thou shouldst not renounce it. My reason is this: wine hath the face of the morn, the face of my lover. Deal righteously then, and say whether there can be a better reason. If on the heavens I possessed the power that there their Maker exerciseth, then would I blot them out, and of their relics others build to mine own fashion, where in freedom man might labour to achieve his heart's desire. My poor heart, full of grief and folly, not yet hath emerged from that Methystine lake wherein the love of my fond lover did submerge it. On the day when this wine of love was served to man, undoubtedly my share was drawn from mine heart's blood. To drink wine and to seek fair lovers is a wiser work than to play the hypocrite and seeming saint. For if for drinkers and for lovers hell doth gape, not one would wish to enter paradise. Despise the speech of wantons, but take the limpid wine from the hands of her whose charms none may deny. One by one, all who have come into this world are gone, and no man can show thee one who hath returned. An unneedful resolve is to blight with grief a joyful heart, to crush mirth's moment with the stone of torment. Seeing the future to be arcane, the needful is a cup of wine, a cherished lover, and leave to rest at will. Fine it is to have good fame, shameful to complain of heaven's injustice, better far to win elation from the juice of grape, than to boast of false devotion. Mercy, O God, for my poor heart in chains. Mercy for my breast so full of sorrow. Mercy for my feet which to the tavern lead me. Mercy for mine hands that grasp the cup. Deliver me, O God, from disputing of the greater and the less. Deliver me from self, and let me occupy in Thee. Seeing my reason to be sound, I know both good and ill. Enchant me then, and of that knowledge rid me. The rolling heavens will roll when Thou, a lover o' me, and I are dead. Against my life and Thine they do conspire. Come then, and rest with me upon the sward, for we shall rest but a little while before that fresher sward from Thy dust and from mine shall grow. When Thy soul and mine are gone away, Thou wilt place a pair of earthen tablets on my tomb and on Thine. Later, to cover other tombs with other earthen tablets, in the potter's mould they will cast Thy dust and mine. On this tower, whose splendour rivalleth the stars, on this tower, where a sequence of sovereigns have rivalled each the other, I saw a turtle dove alight, and from its ruined battlements I heard her cry, "Where are they? Where are they?" What hath benefited by my coming here? What advantage springeth from my going hence? What have I left of the heap of hopes conceived? Where is the smoke of all the perfect men who have consumed themselves to dust beneath the orb of heaven? Thou, whose lips hide the water of life, let not the lips of the cup kiss thine. May I forfeit the name of man if I fill myself anew with the flagon's blood. For who is this cup that should dare to press its lips to thine? Such as I am, Thy might hath made me. Laden with Thy benevolence and benefit, I have lived 100 years. That I may sin, I wish to live another 100 years, to know whether the sum of my sin could outweigh Thy mercy's store. Take in Thine hand the cup, carry the calabash away, and look upon the meadows and the banks of brooks, O enchanting lover o' me. For many forms, with lovely faces radiant as moons, have been changed 100 times to cups, and 100 times from calabashes. I will buy old wine and new wine, and I will sell the world for a couple of grains of barley. Dost know where thou wilt go when thou art dead? Go where thou wilt, but bring me wine. What man in this world hath done no sin? How would one who hath not sinned have lived? If thou dost punish me with ill, by cause that I am an ill doer, what is the difference betwixt thee and me? Where is that of the Rubine lips? Where is the gem of Badakhshan? Where is the wine full of fragrance that giveth repose to the soul? The faith of Islam forbiddeth it, they say. Drink wine, O lover o' me, and have no fear, for where dost thou see Islam? To refrain from all that is not mirth is well. To take a cup of wine from the hands of lovely girls who live in the palaces of kings is better. But best of all is the rapture that wine doth bring, with scorn for the calendars, and oblivion of self. In sooth, a throatful of wine is worth all there is twixt moon and fish, and heaven and hell. Better it is for thee to shun the study of knowledge and of godliness, to let thine hands caress the hair of a ravishing lover, to fill thy cup with the vine's best blood, before that death shall pour out thine. Rest, O lover o' me, in the midst of the human change. Vex not thyself in vain, by cause of the march of time. When the wrapper of thy soul to rags is torn, what matter thy words, thy deeds, thy stains? Thou, who no good hast done but ill, and after hast sought refuge with thy God, beware of trusting in thine hope of pardon, for he who hath done nothing no more resembleth him who hath done ill, than he who hath sinned resembleth him who hath done nothing, good or ill. Measure not thy life by more than 80 years. Set thy foot nowhere where no wine is. Seeing that thy skull hath not yet been made into a pitcher, go on thy way with thy calabash ever on thy shoulder, and thy cup in hand. The firmament is like a bowl that hath fallen on our heads. Keen-sighted men are humiliated and deprived of strength thereby. But see the friendship reigning twixt the flagon and the cup. Lip to lip are they, and from one to other floweth blood. I have swept the tavern threshold with my beard. I reflect no more on the good or ill of this world, or of the next. I see them like 2 balls rolling in a ditch, with which, when wine hath brought me sleep, I occupy myself no more than if I saw a grain of barley roll. The spray complaineth that it is parted from the ocean. The ocean laugheth to the spray, and saith, We both are one. Beyond us there is none but God, and between us the gap is almost invisible. How long shall I vex myself to know whether I know, or whether I know not? Whether I ought to pass this life in gaiety, or whether I ought not? Fill another cup of wine, O Ganymedes, for even whether I shall exhale this breath but now inhaled, I do not know. Be not a prey to the grief of this restless world. Let not thy soul remember those who are no more. Lose not thine heart, save to a lover of mellifluous lips and sylph-like form. Never let wine be lacking. Cast not thy life upon the wind. How long wilt thou speak of the mosque, of fasting, of prayer? Seek the tavern sooner, and become elate with wine, even though thou hast to beg the means. Drink wine, O Khayyam, for soon of thy clay they will make cups or bowls or pitchers. This, O mage, is the reason why, in this palace of life, thou oughtst to spend thyself in using rosy wine, that each atom of thy dust, which the wind shall bear away, may fall, deep dyed in wine, upon the tavern threshold. see how that Zephyrus maketh the roses bloom. Hear the bulbuls' joy by cause of their resplendent beauty. Rest, then, in their flowery shade, for often have they left the earth, and are come again. Here am I, surrounded by my lovers. Here am I, delivered from the grief which time inflicteth. Here am I, free, tranquil, and elate with wine, for I have drained the cup of love. Suppose that thou hast lived here as thou willest. What of that? Suppose that thy last day hath come. What of that? I grant thee to have lived 100 years, with all thy wishes satisfied. Suppose thyself to have another 100 years to live. Well, and what of that? Dost know why among men cypress and lily are considered free? By cause that the first is silent, though it hath 10 tongues. By cause that the last, which hath 100 hands, doth keep them shut. Enrich my cup, O Ganymedes, with delicious wine, with juice alluring as an enchanting lover, with nectar which is like a chain of twisted links entwisted, holding sage and fool alike in sweet captivity. Alas, that life should pass in uselessness, that at every mouthful I should break the law and soil my soul. Blackened am I, in that I have not done as thou commandest. And what shall I be, seeing that I have done what thou commandest not? Vex not thyself for the changes of this changeful world, but call for wine, and caress thy lover in a closer clip. For he, whom today his mother beareth, tomorrow vanisheth from earth, and to the void returneth. Now I will renounce all, wine never, for I can repay myself for all but wine. Could I become Muslim and renounce old wine? Never. All of me is drowned in love, enraptured, adoring Dionysos Piripaius. All of me is in the tavern, whence I have banished all things, good and ill, all thoughts, all musings. Then ask me not for an opinion, for I am elate with wine. Confident in divine goodness, I keep myself from knowing obedience or disobedience, for in the light of thy goodness, he who doeth nothing is peer of him who doeth well. With strange features hath my life been formed, wherein strange changes do arise. Better than I am I cannot be, for thou hast drawn me from thy crucible, even as I am. I have broken all my vows, I have closed upon myself the door of good fame and of ill. Blame me not, then, when I do senseless deeds, for all of me is drowned in the wine of love. A throatful of old wine is worth more than a young empire. It is well to renounce everything except old wine. A cup of this nectar is to be preferred 100 times to the kingdom of Feridun. The very earthen cover of the jar is more precious than the crown of King Khosrov. Thou canst never attain to knowledge of the hidden secrets, O lover of me. Thou canst never reach the summit to which the daring sage hath soared. Then be resigned to compass for thyself a worldly paradise, with cup and wine. For the true paradise, wilt thou achieve it, ever or never? Those who have gone before, O Ganymedes, lie in the dust of pride. Drink wine, and hear the truth I tell. They have brought forth naught save chromioxyregmia. Know that, O Ganymedes. Came from afar one marvellous foul-favoured, whose sexless body was clad in a chemise woven of hell's fume. It broke my flagon, spilling on the ground the rubious wine, and boasted that the deed was worthy of a man. When thou, O lover of me, hast gained admittance to the banquet of thy love, thou wilt have lost and gained thyself. When once thou shalt have quaffed death's wine, thou wilt be apart from those who are, and from those who are no more. I grant that I am one with wine, and with the rapture that wine doth bring. But why doth the world blame me for that? Would God that all unlawful things brought rapture, for then I never should have seen the shadow of sound reason in the world. O God, thou hast broken my pitcher of wine! O God, thou hast shut against me the door of joy! O God, on the earth thou hast spilt my limpid wine! Wast thou, dust i' the mouth o' me, thyself, O God, elate with wine? I regard thee, O man, as vexed by the four elements and the seven heavens of which thou art made. Drink wine, O man, for more than 4 times have I told thee that, when thou once hast left the world, thou never mayst return. Having laid 200 snares about me, thou hast said, if thou puttest there thy foot, death shall smite thee. Thou hast hid the snares, and thou cursest, smitest dead, and namest rebel whoso shall fall therein. Thou, whose mysterious being no mind can understand, thou, who for mine obedience carest no more than for my faults, I, though drowned in sin, am satisfied because I confide in thee, and by that I mean that I rely upon thy mercy. If the affairs of the world depended not on obedience to law, then every day would be a feast. If there were no vain threats, then each man here might have his heart's desire. O rolling heavens, ye do fill mine heart with endless sorrow. Tear from me the garment of joy, change to water the breeze wherewith my body is refreshed, turn to dust in my mouth the pure water that I drink. O heart of me, if thou couldst free thyself from all the disappointments that thy material body hath inherited, thou wouldst become a soul in all its purity. Thou wouldst soar to heaven, and in the firmament abide. Shame to thee then that thou camest here below to live. Give ear, O potter, if thou hast sound reason. How long wilt thou do man wrong while fashioning his clay? Thou puttest on thy wheel the finger of Feridoun and King Khosrob's hand. Oh, what dost thou think of them there? Rose thou resemblest a young and enravishing beauty. Wine thou resemblest a ruby whose radiance rejoiceth the soul. O fickle fortune, each moment more strange thou appearest, yet meseemeth I know thee. In the kitchen of this world thou absorbest but the smoke. Immersed in studying life and death, how long wilt thou let sorrow make of thee a prey? This world containeth naught but loss for them who be its slaves. Then burst thy bonds, and all will profit thee. I seek not to torture men in sleep, and I will not make them at midnight lamentably cry, O God! O God! Rely not on thy riches, nor on thy beauty, for on one night shall the one be taken from thee, and on another night the other. If at the outset thou hadst wished to make me know myself, why didst thou then separate myself from me? If at the outset thou didst not intend to leave me, why didst thou hurl me worldward, all amazed? Would to God that I might find some resting place, where the road whereon I travel might have an end. Would to God that the bare idea were conceivable, that after 100,000 years I might hope to be born again, as grass is born again and again from the womb of the earth.
End of section. Section 5 of the Rubaiyat of Umar Khayyam by Frederic Rolfe. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Verses 401 to 464.
While I cast the horoscope of the Book of Love, suddenly, from the ardent heart of a mage, there came these words: Happy is he who in his dwelling hath a lover as fair as the moon, and the prospect of a year-long night. The constant sequence of spring and autumn causeth the leaves of life to fall. Drink wine, O lover ami! For wise men well have said that worldly care is a venom, whose antidote is wine. O lover ami, drink wine in a garden, and enjoy the presence of thy lover. Renege hypocrisy and knavery, and say whether thou followest the doctrine of Muhammad. Thou dost? Then fill thy wine cup from the bowl that Ali, as Ganymedes, taketh away. At Hestern Eve I broke mine earthen cup against a stone. I was in a rapture of wine when I did that senseless deed, and methought the cup said, Once I was as thou art, and as I am, in thy turn, thou shalt be. Bring wine, O Ganymedes, for the flowers have burst into blossom. Cease from thy pious deeds, O Ganymedes. Before Thanatos cometh, come thou, with a cup of rubious wine in hand, and, for a space, enjoy the sweetness of thy lover near. Rise from thy couch, O Ganymedes, give limpid wine, O Ganymedes. Pour wine from pitcher to bowl, O Ganymedes, before that of our skulls are made pitchers. O Ganymedes, weariness encompasseth mine heart by cause of hypocrites. Rise, and cheerfully serve me with a cup of wine, O Ganymedes, and pledge for it both turban and prayer rug. May be that mine arguments will rest on a more solid basis then. If thou be wise, examine and observe what thou hast brought in the beginning, and what at the end thou wilt bear away. Thou dost drink wine, thou sayest, by cause that thou must die. O lover ami, whether thou drinkest, or whether thou drinkest not, nathless thou must die. Open the gate for me, for thou alone canst open. Show me the way, for thou showest the way of salvation. I will give mine hand to none of those who wish to raise me, for they must die. But thou art only from ever, lasting. All that thou sayest to me is born of thine hate. Thou ceasest not to treat me as an atheist and faithless. I am convinced of what I am, and I avow it. Deal righteously, and say whether it be for thee to treat me so. Be resigned to thy sorrow if thou desirest a remedy. Complain not of thy sufferings if thou wilt recover from them. In poverty, give thanks to Providence if thou wishest wealth one day to be thy portion. Once I saw a mage in the house of a man brimful of wine, of whom I asked whether he could give me news of those gone before. He answered, Drink wine, my friend, for many men like us have gone away and have not returned. All that I ask is a flagon of rubious wine, a lyric bibliodirion, the half of a loaf, and an instant of rest in life. If, with these, I might dwell in some ruin near thee, O lover o' me, my bliss would be preferable to that of a sultan in his kingdom. Why argue so long concerning the 5 senses and the 4 elements, O Ganymedes? To understand one is as difficult as to understand 100,000, O Ganymedes. Man is but clay, O Ganymedes. Tune the lyra and bring wine, for man is but breath, O Ganymedes. How long wilt thou discourse of Yassin and of Barat, O Ganymedes? Give me my treat at the tavern, O Ganymedes. The day when that treat is given will be for me the night of Barat, O Ganymedes. Thou who hast bones and nerves and sinews in thy body, place no foot beyond the limit of thy fate. Yield never to thine enemy, were he Rustan, son of Zal. Take nothing that could bind thee to thy lover, were that lover Hatem Tai. Much hast thou been moved by the lips of Rubaiyat tinct. Much joy hast thou in thy cup of wine. Eagerly hast thou sought the sound of tambour, of lyra and flute. There they are mere accessories. God bear me witness that, inasmuch as thou hast not broken the bonds that bind thee to the world, thou wilt never be anything. Seeing that thou art under the ungovernable vault, bestir thyself, being in the world where calamity reigneth, drink wine. All, from beginning to end, is dust. Then act like a man who is on and not under the dust. Initiate in every mystery, now for what new orgies dost thou yearn? It is true that the world doth not move at thy will, but, O Aetas Proferus, thou breathest, then, breathing, rejoice. Where'er I turn my eyes, methinks I see the sward of paradise and the brook of Calthere, that the plain, which hath come from hell, has been transformed into an heavenly abode. Then there let me rest, with an heavenly lover. Follow no way, save that of the calendars. Seek for no dwelling, save the tavern. Occupy only with wine, with song, with thy lover. Take the wine cup in thine hand, the calabash on thy back. Drink, O lover o' me, and surcease from foolish words. Desirest thou to see thy life on firm foundation? Wouldst thou live for a time, heart free from sorrow? Live no moment without wine, and every breath will bring new pleasure to thy life. In this world, in this house of jugglery, it is useless to trust thy lover. Hear mine advice, and confide in none. Endure thy sufferings, hoping for no remedy. Be happy in thy sorrows, and seek not to share them with another. 2 things there be, whereon wisdom is founded, and which ought to be numbered among the chief traditions, and they are, to eat nothing of all things that are eaten, and to stand aside from every living thing. How cometh it to pass that, at the dawn of spring, the green juice of the garden is sour? How cometh it to pass that, later, this same juice is sweet, and that, later still, the wine is bitter? If, of a piece of wood, with the aid of a pruning knife, a man may make a kithera, what wilt thou say when thou seest him, with this same pruning knife, to make a flute? Dost know why Electryon, at daybreak, makes his voice every instant to be heard? It is to remind thee by the morning mirror that from thy life another night has passed, and that still thou knowest nothing. Serve to me this rubine tulip-tinctured wine. Let the flagon disgorge its pure blood. For little do I see to-day except the wine-cup of another lover, whose heart is pure. O Ganymedes, pour for me wine tinctured like the flowers of the Judas tree, for my soul by sorrow is oppressed, O Ganymedes. Pour for me this nectar, for, perchance, it will free me from this changeful world by making me a stranger to myself, O Ganymedes. Thy cup, O Ganymedes, containeth liquid rubies. Serve, then, to my soul the glitter of those gems, O Ganymedes. Place in my hand this incomparable cup, O Ganymedes, for with it I will give new life to my soul. Wert thou a philosopher as great as Aristoteles or as Bezoogmer, wert thou as potent as some Roman Caesar or as some Chinese emperor, drink unceasingly, drink wine from the cup of jam, for the tomb is the end of all. O wert thou Bahram himself, the coffin is thine ultimate couch. Entering the workshop of the potter, I saw the workmen busy moulding flagons and pitcher handles, the first from the heads of kings, the last from the feet of beggars. Choose to be enraptured from thyself, if thou art wise, and, to that end, drink wine with the eternal drinkers. But thou art not wise, and rapture is not thine heart's desire, nor is it given to thee to taste its sweetness. Lover-a-me, passing through the world, drink from this pitcher, drink this saving wine, before that of my dust and thine the potter shall make pitchers. Fill thy cup, drink it, and pass a cup to me. Hear, O lover-a-me, and while thou canst, soothe the sorrows of the heart that loveth thee, for the basilic grace that crowneth thee endureth not for ever. Like so many others, it will be reft from thee when thou art unaware. Strive to lay up for thyself a treasure here, before that thou art drowned in the cup of death, before that the turn of time shall drive thee out beyond the world. For yonder thou canst gain no profit if thou goest empty-handed. Thou dost dispose so of the quick and dead. Thou dost rule the rolling heavens, unruly though they be. What if I am wicked? Art not thou my master, I thy slave? What man is blameworthy when thou hast made all? How can an orosang, as I am, unmoved look on when he shall find himself in joyful company, circled round by wine and dancers, in the time of roses, O my king? A garden, a flute, and a flagon of wine are more to be desired than paradise with its houris and its kalthir. Lo, the clear light of the moon, the splendour of wine, O Ganymedes! Lo, the ravishing beauty, rosy as Balas ruby, O Ganymedes! Let naught of earth approach this heart that burneth like a fire. Let no winds fan it, but in wine drench it, O Ganymedes. O limpid wine, wine of richest tincture! Fool that I be, I will in such excess to drink thee, that whoever shall perceive me from afar may mistake me for thee, and say, O master wine, pray tell me whence thou comest. Hail, O repose of my soul! Though thou art come, I cannot trust mine eyes. O, for love of God, not for love of me, drink wine until I truly know thee. To an Hytera quoth a sheikh, Thou art drunk, and at any moment any man may clip thee. Who answered him again, Sheikh, all that thou sayest, that I am, but thou, art thou what thou dost seem to be? Like a ball the round world rolleth in an hollow, and when, drowned in wine, I sleep therein, I heed it no more than if it were a rolling grain of barley. At Hestern Eve, in the tavern, I gave myself in pledge for a cup of wine, and mine host unceasingly saith, Oh, the excellent pledge, the excellent pledge! Sometimes thou hidest, showing thyself to none. Sometimes thou thyself displayest in all things created. For thyself, and for thine own pleasure, thou dost produce these wondrous visions, for thou art the image and the substance of the show, and thine own beholder. If thou couldst empeople all the world, thy deed would be less gracious than to rejoice a sorrowing soul. Better for thee by kindness to enslave a free man than to free 1,000 slaves. They tell thee to drink no wine on pain of becoming a prey of torment, and at the day of judgment of being burned with fire. 'Tis true, but this moment, which wine maketh joyous, doth outvalue the treasure of this world and the next. If it be thy pleasure to sow sorrow in an heart that is free from every care, thou shouldst make a lifelong mourning for thy wits, O lover o' me. Go then and mourn, for thou art a queer fool. As often as thou canst, get 2 measures of wine, drink them, drink in all conditions, in all company wherein thou mayest be, for he who so doeth is delivered from the annoyance of showing disdain or petty scorn. He who hath a wheaten loaf, a dish of mutton, and 2 measures of wine, can go and rest near some ruin with a youthful lover, whose fair cheeks glow with the tinct of tulips. Ah, not every sultan may achieve such joy. If in a city thou dost achieve renown, thou art deemed the arch-sinner of thy kind. If in thy corner thou dost live an eremite, men esteem thee as an evil schemer. Better by far, though thou wert Elias the prophet, or Dios Georgius Pontocrator, so to live that thou knowest no man, while no man knoweth thee. Were I free, freely to use my will, free from the torture of my fate, free from the knowledge of the good and ill of this disordered world, I would choose never to have come here, never to remain here, never to be forced to go away. Drink wine, O lover o' me, for see how it endueth the cheeks of the world's most fair, the lovers of Ray. How many times must I say that I have broken all my vows? Is it not better to break the bonds of 100 vows than 1 pitcher of wine? Wine is mine, O Ganymedes, also the presence of my lover and the chaunt of the morn. Ask not of me the renunciation of Nessu, O Ganymedes. How long wilt thou speak of the history of Noah, O Ganymedes? Bring wine, bring repose of soul, O Ganymedes. Nor do I see the means of becoming one with thee, nor the possibility of living the space of a breath apart from thee. I dare not share with any one the torments that I endure. O difficult case! O quaint sorrow! O delicious suffering! Hearken to the chaunt. The time hath come to drink the morning wine, O Ganymedes. Ready am I, O Ganymedes. Here is wine, there is the tavern. Can such a moment be for prayer? Silence, O Ganymedes. So cease from prating of traditions and devotions. Drink wine, O Ganymedes. Hearken to the morning chaunt, O lover o' me, whose dawn begetteth joy. Intone the responds, and bring wine, for the ceaseless sequence of the months, from Tyr to Di, hath destroyed in this world a myriad of potentates like Jam, a myriad like King Khosrov. Where lest thou pass for a clown among drinkers? Where lest thou win an ill name among the sympathistic mages? For, whether thou drinkest or drinkest not, if thou art fuel for the flames of hell, thou art not fit to enter paradise. I wish that God would reconstruct the world. I wish that he would do it now, so that I might see him at the work. I wish that he would blot out from the book of life my name, or else that he would increase, from his mysterious store, my means of living. God, open to me one door of thy benefits. Let me win my food so, that I may not owe it to thy creatures. Oh, so enrapture me with wine, that, with my consciousness, my mental torments may disappear. Thou, who hast been burned, and burned again, and invitest a third burning, thou who only art worthy to fan the flames of hell, how long wilt thou pray to God for Umar's pardon? What is thy connection with God? What audacity driveth thee to teach him the use of mercy? Bereft of limpid wine, I cannot live. Unless I drink the wall vine's juice, my body is a burden that I cannot bear. With what good will do I enslave myself to that delicious moment when Ganymedes offereth me another cup, which I no longer have the power to hold. Still to me remaineth a breath of life while Ganymedes is my minister, and among men discord yet doth reign. I know that from Hestern Eve remaineth no more than a measure of wine, but I know not how long I have to live. Why should a man, who hath a loaf of bread sufficing for 2 days, who can draw of water a throatful in a sharded pitcher, allow himself to serve one who is unworthy save to be his equal? Since the day when Cytherea and Astrache first appeared in heaven, no man hath seen anything in this world to be preferred to rubious wine. I am obstupefied by cause of the wine vendors. For what goods can they buy sublimer than those they sell? Those who are endowed with knowledge and with virtue, whose profound wisdom hath made them like torches to their disciples, even these have made no step outside this depth of night. They have babbled of certain fables, and are withdrawn again to sleep.
End of section. End of the Rubaiyat of Umar Khayyam by Frederic Rolfe. Recording by Algy Pug.